Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the class. In today's class, we are just going to discuss about genetics. Okay, few topics of genetics. So, genetics is basically what? Ki you, it, if we go through the definition, then what's the definition of genetics? That it is the science that deals with the study, or you can say it's the science that deals with the principles of inheritance and variations. Correct? Inheritance and variations. So these are the two main words which defines, or you can say which lay the foundation of genetics. Now why it is so, why I'm saying so? Inheritance basically is what? It has came from a word inherit. And what do we understand from inherit? That to copy something. Okay? Like if we see that men give birth to a baby one. Okay? That very old examples of that. An elephant can give birth to a baby elephant. Take a cow gives birth to a calf. So this is what, this is the thing that we are inheriting many things from the parents. Like if you say the definition of inheritance, that the parents look a kind of similar to each other, or you can say the offsprings. Okay, the offsprings are similar to their parents. This particular thing is called as inheritance. And what about variation then? Variation is the dissimilarity. Okay, actually the degree of dissimilarities. Okay, like in inheritance, I said that we look a kind of similar to each other. By that I mean that we have two eyes, our parents have that. We have a nose, we have a mouth, hand. This is called inheritance. Okay, and variation comes from that I'm not a Xerox copy of my parent. Correct. So that is known as variation. Okay. So what what's the complete definition of that? It is a branch of science that deals with the study of inheritance and variation. Just one second. Okay, thank you so much. Human, the same thing I have written over here also. Okay, G. Next, again, the same definition. Inheritance is what? We look similar to each other. And see, you must have heard these words also in your syllabus. Morphology, what does that mean? Morphology are the physical characters. What do you say by what do you understand by morphology? It is the physical characters, or you can say a more easy word, visible characters. See, like I can see that Purnam is wearing an handcuffs. Okay, not handcuffs, sorry, headphones. Okay, so this is what? This is the visible character, which I can see and say that this is Purnam. Okay, and what do you understand by anatomy? Anatomy is the internal features or internal characters. Okay, chaliye ji. Next, the definition is this: one generation to next generation, similar characters are passed from parents to offspring. Okay, so inheritance is what? Inheritance is the process by which similar characters are passed from parents to offspring. Okay, chaliye ji, next. Next is the same thing again, that we are not the carbon copy or exact copy of our parents. Reproduction gives birth to. Hmm. You want me to teach this Mendel's law of inheritance, Param?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, see. Mendel have given three laws of, there are three laws of Mendel. One is law of dominance. Okay. Now, what does law of dominance says? Dominance. Law of dominance is that if we take, see, law of dominance was restricted to just two characters. Okay. It was restricted to two characters. Or you can say, you know that there are, see, now what does that mean? What I wanted to say is ki if we take, sorry, one character, so sorry, Ji, ठीक है, one character at a time, what does that mean? Ki if we are making a cross between a tall plant, ठीक है, and a small plant, which in biological word is called as dwarf, ठीक है, dwarf or small, ठीक है, if we make a cross between tall plant and a dwarf plant, see, I don't know how many of you know. how much about genetics. Uh, what we used to do now, that this is called the parent character. Okay, tall one is the parent character, and suppose this is the female parent, and it has a gene. You know that there are chromosomes, okay, which are responsible for the for any character in the body of the organism. Okay, so that this tall character is coming from a gene, this TT gene. It is always in pairs. And similarly, the dwarf character or the small character is coming from a in a female, sorry, in a male one, and it will be represented as small t. Okay. Now, when we used to do a cross, now we are taking one gamete from here and one gamete from here. Similar way we used to do in humans. Okay. So we will be getting T, capital T from here and small t from here. What they are going to together make, they will be making capital T and small t. But now you need to know one important thing, that is the phenotypic character and the genotypic character. All right. What does that mean now? Phenotypic character is the physical appearance. Okay. It is the physical appearance. You must be aware of two words, appearance, dominant and recessive. Correct? You know that?
Yes, ma'am.
Everyone knows that. What is dominant? What is recessive? Can I get some thumbs up if you know these two words? Okay. Okay. So what happened here is, Harish, you don't know this thing?
Yes, ma'am. I don't know.
Okay.
Domin-
Uh, dominant and recessive are, see, the character, in a particular trait, what is going to happen is that, suppose, how should I explain you? Huh. Let's take this example only. If we are crossing a tall plant and a small or the dwarf plant, now you get to know that we call dwarf a small point. Then in the F1 generation, that means the first generation, the resultant will be always tall. Okay, it will always be the tall one. Why so? Because it is the dominant character. Dominant means which is going to appear first. Okay, the gene of that particular trait will be occurring here. Okay, so this and small t. So in this we got to know capital T and small t, but there is a, see, there is a character of recessive also, but this will not be expressed in the first generation. What we are used to, when it will be appearing, when we do this selfing. Okay, what we are doing, t, capital T and small t is now crossed again with itself. Okay, because what you are going to do, you're not just going to do this experiment on a single pea plant, correct? You're going to do this experiment on an entire field. Here you will pick one character from one tree and another from another, and now when you are going to make that character, now see, this particular character, who was the person? Harsh, right? Harishi, this particular character expressed itself in the F1 generation. So now it is known as the dominant character. Okay. And this particular character got hidden. What we use the word, that it is, it didn't express itself in the F1 generation. But similarly, now, sorry, now what is going to happen is that the dominant character is tall one. Okay, and the recessive character is small t. Now, when they are being crossed, capital T small t is crossed with capital T and small t, it is going to give you what? It is going to give you four things. Okay, how you're going to do the cross? Let's do one thing. Okay, let me teach you Punnett square. Okay, you must be aware of that. Okay, we used to do this selfing by the Punnett square. What we are going to do is we are going to split these genes. Capital T here, small t here. Now for this also, capital T here and small t here. Now you can do the cross, right? Capital T.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now what will be the what will be the phenotype of this? See, you can see the genotype here, right here, because both are capital T. Genotypic character is the genetic character, the characters of the gene. Correct. So you can see the genotypic character is capital T, capital T. What will be the phenotype of this? Physical appearance. How will be the plant appear physically?
Tall.
Tall. Okay. This will be the tall one. Correct. Now, another will be, first you have crossed this T with this. Correct? Now what you are going to do is that you are going to cross this particular T with this small t. Okay? This particular capital T and here small t. What would be the phenotypic character here now?
Tall again.
Tall again, right? Here also it will be tall, but the phenotype is different. Sorry, for the genotype is different over here. Now again in this, capital T, small t. This will be crossed now with this. So capital T, small t. You can write either ways. This also or this also, both means the same. Okay. So what will be the phenotype of this?
Tall.
यहाँ पे भी again tall ही हो रहा है. Okay. Now capital T and small t. So small t, and this will be now as the dwarf one. Okay. See now, हाँ जी हरीश.
ये बार बार वैसे टॉल क्यों हो रहा है, ये मैं मतलब समझ नहीं पाया.
बच्चा जी, I have already told you that we got two types of character in a particular trait. जब भी हम किसी एक को क्रॉस कराते हैं, डोमिनेंट और रेसेसिव दोनों में से सिर्फ एक ही एक्सप्रेस करेगा. ठीक है. कैपिटल टी जो है हमारा एक डोमिनेंट एलील है. ये हमारे क्या है, जीन्स है. जीनोटिपिक एक्सप्रेशन हम लिखते हैं यहाँ पे. तो इन दोनों जीन्स में से जब भी कैपिटल वाला टी होगा ना, तो हमेशा उसका ही कैरेक्टर एक्सप्रेस करेगा. और यहाँ पे आप देख सकते हो कि कैपिटल टी किसको एक्सप्रेस कर रहा है? टॉल प्लांट को. हरीश, नाउ इज इट क्लियर टू यू?
यस मैम, यस मैम.
ठीक है. अगर कैपिटल टी दोनों में से किसी के टाइम साथ भी होगा तो वही एक्सप्रेस होगा. इधर देखो, जब टी होगा तो आपको पता ही है टॉल होगा. ठीक है. जब
यस मैम.
कैपिटल टी एंड स्मॉल टी होगा तो भी आपको अब ये समझ में आ जाना चाहिए कि इट कैपिटल टी इज द डोमिनेंट कैरेक्टर, तो यहाँ पे टॉल ही आएगा. बट व्हेन दिस इज स्मॉल टी तो यहाँ पे डॉर्फ आएगा. सो नाउ यू नीड टू राइट दिस पर्टिकुलर पुनेट स्क्वायर इन अ जिसे कहते हैं दिस phenotypic and genotypic character. How you are going to write this phenotypic? So in the form of ratio. What will be the phenotypic ratio of this? How many tall plants are here? Out of 4, how many tall plants are here, Bacha ji?
3.
3.
3. How many small plant or dwarf
1.
plant? 1. So the phenotypic ratio is? Correct?
3:1.
3 ratio 1 is to nahi. 3 ratio 1. And now about the genotypic character. How many types of genetic combinations are there? Okay. How many types of genetic combination do you see here? Genotypic combination, not the phenotypic one. Do you know what is phenotypic and genotypic thing, or you don't know that also? Param, do you understand these words? What is genotype and phenotype?
Yes, ma'am.
Then why you are not answering this thing? Genotype is, bacha ji, this. Capital T, small capital T. This is a one kind of genotype. So we are going to write here 1. Can you see कि यहाँ पे कोई भी और capital T है? No.
No, ma'am.
Correct? अब capital T और small t कितने हैं?
2.
ठीक है, तो 1 ratio.
2.
ये कैसे लिखा होगा? यहाँ ऐसे कर दो. 2 ratio. अब आगे और कौन सा बचा हमारे
1.
पास?
2
1.
small t.
यहाँ पे कैसे लिखोगे आप इसके नीचे? Capital T, capital T, capital T, small t, small t, small t. Is it fine now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, चलो जी. Let's see then कितना फाइन हुआ. If I am going to make a cross between capital T and capital T small t, क्या क्या लिखना है मुझे बताइए. You only are going to tell me about the phenotypic and genotypic characters. बताइए. हाँ जी परम.
And the first one will be 2 capital T.
Okay.
And the second one also.
Okay.
Then capital T small t.
Okay.
Then same again. Capital
again.
T small
So
t.
now you got to know that you need to write the dominant one first. Correct? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Now what about the phenotypic and genotypic character? What's the phenotype of
Phenotypic is
this?
2:2.
परम थोड़ा सा ध्यान से देखिए प्लीज. Phenotype means physical appearance, correct? This particular plant is tall, right? And
Yes,
what
ma'am.
about this plant? What will be the phenotypic character of this plant?
Tall, ma'am. I think tall.
I think your thinking is very correct. Okay, this will be also tall. So phenotypic character here will be Harish.
And
I
then they
expect
are
the
all
answer.
tall, so what will be the ratio?
Correct. Param, this is the answer. They
So
all
what will
will
we
be
write
tall.
the ratio? Okay.
You don't
Now
need to
since
write the
not
ratio.
yes,
All
ma'am.
tall, just now, just this. Okay, and what will be the genotypic character here now?
This will be 2:2.
Actually 2:2, or you can write 1:1 also, because we used to
Yes, I'm
divide that,
little
no?
confused.
You know, so what you are going to write? Capital T, capital T, capital T, small t. Done?
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Let's take one more example then. Okay, now tell me. Question is this. What will be there in first column?
Capital T, small t,
Then
same. Small t, and then small t again.
rest Mukesh, Akarsh, can you understand this particular phenotypic chart or not?
Yes, ma'am.
Akarsh and Mukesh. Okay, so
Yes,
Akarsh, you are
ma'am.
going to tell me the phenotypic one, and Mukesh, you are going to tell me about the genotypic one. What will be the phenotypic character of this? Phenotypic ratio क्या होगा इसका बच्चा जी? आकर्ष, आपसे मैंने क्वेश्चन पूछा. आकर्ष नाम है या आकाश नाम है?
I
बिकॉज
think
मेरे
three. I'm Akash. I
ओके.
think 3:1.
आकर्ष 3:1 आपको कहां से दिख रहा है? ये कैसा प्लांट होगा? ये पर्टिकुलर प्लांट कैपिटल टी और स्मॉल टी जो है वो कैसा प्लांट बनाएगा आगे जाके? टॉल या डॉर्फ? आकर्ष ट्राई करो, आपको समझ में आएगा.
I'm too tall as per the fact that T is dominant characteristic.
टॉल बनाएगा, राइट? बिकॉज आई कांट हियर यू प्रॉपरली. ठीक है जी, ठीक है. इट्स गोइंग टू मेक टॉल. What kind of plant this particular is going to make? Tall again, right? And what about these two? Akarsh.
Not too short as the other recessive traits.
Okay, they are the recessive alleles, so they are going to make dwarf plant. All right. Okay, ji. So what is the ratio now? How many tall? How many dwarf? Akarsh. 1:1. Correct. And I guess similar goes with the genotype also, right, Mukesh?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So it's not compulsory that you are going to get the question of tall plant only. You can get the question of rose colors also. How? Like capital R is dominant and it is going to give you red color. Small r, they are recessive and they are going to give you white color. But आपको क्रॉस ऐसे ही करना है और ऐसे ही अपना जो आंसर है वो निकाल लेना है. ठीक है जी परम?
Yes, ma'am.
बताएं जी. ये तो था हमारा लॉ ऑफ डोमिनेंस. ठीक है. नाउ ये लीजिए जी. ठीक है. What I'm going to do is now, just 1 second. Just give me a moment here. I have one slide of genetics. Actually, that's a very good slide. इसमें होगा. Just 1 second, huh? But it's a PowerPoint slide, and right now I can't convert it into that sheet open board. So is it completely visible for you guys or not?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Better now? Because it's in my phone, it's matlab many things are written over there. See, inheritance and variation. Okay, characters are passed from you can just rotate your phone. Okay, if you're using phone, characters are passed from one generation to next generation. That is parents to their offspring. It is called as inheritance, which I've already told you. The degree by which progeny and the offspring differ from their parents, it is called variation. Correct. This is what I told you about variation. If we combine these two, we go ahead to know about the genetics. That genetics is a branch of science which deals with the study of principle and inherit. See, another thing is father of genetics is Gregor John Mendel. Correct? Genetics term was coined by William Bateson in the year 1905. Carl Correns, Hugo de Vries, and Schimar. Actually, what was the thing? What was the thing that when Mendel worked, okay, when Mendel was doing all his experiments, at that time, that was the era of Darwinism and Lamarckism. Okay, Darwinism and Lamarckism. Okay, the one that is related to evolution. You must have heard about that. So what was the thing that no one gave importance, because everyone was curious about to know that how life originate, because that was their work. Okay, how life originate, they were much interested in that thing. Actually, आपका स्लाइड चेंज नहीं हो रहा है?
No,
No,
ma'am.
ma'am.
अब हुआ?
Yes, ma'am.
ओके, बिकॉज मेरे में ना ये स्लाइड चेंज हो रहा था, बट जो मैं लिख रही हूँ वो आपके में नहीं आ रहा है ना?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
इसके लिए क्या करूं? ऐसे ही पढ़, ऐसे ही कर ले, है ना? बिकॉज तुम्हारे पास और कोई आई गेस ऑप्शन नहीं है. आई डोंट नो व्हाई. अब आ रहा है ना?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
ऐसे कर लेते हैं, ठीक है. सी व्हाट आई वाज टेलिंग यू कि जब मेंडल ने काम कर रहे थे एट दैट टाइम, दैट वाज द एरा ऑफ लेमार्किनिज्म एंड डार्विनिज्म. तो नो, एवरीवन वाज क्यूरियस टू नो अबाउट हाउ लाइफ ओरिजिनेटेड. दैट इज व्हाई Mendel's all work till the time he was alive, every contribution was in vain. Actually, he didn't got any kind of recognition or any kind of importance. Okay, but after that, when he died, just 1 second. Okay, after when he died, Carl Correns, Hugo de Vries. Okay, actually, my pen is not working. Carl Correns, Hugo de Vries, and Schimar. These were the three scientists who worked on Mendel's work again, but they worked independently. That means they rediscovered the Mendel's work in the year 1902. When Mendel did his work, that was in the year 1957 to 1963. Okay, that was the 4 years when Mendel did his all works and published his all findings. But yes, that didn't got any kind of importance. Another scientist which you must know is James Dewey Watson and Crick, because they proposed DNA structure. Other important thing was why Mendel's work didn't got any kind of importance was that was not the time of advancement. Okay, the microscope that was discovered is 1900. Okay, and another reason was of Mendel's failure was that he he started mathematics in this. Okay, 1:2:1. So biology, actually, what's the myth behind this? That people used to take biology because they don't uh, like maths, or they find maths a very tough subject. Okay, that at that time, that also this was also the reason. Father of genetics, Gregor John Mendel. He worked in 1822 to 1880. Sorry, it says he was born on this year and he died on this. He was an Austrian monk. He worked on garden pea, that is known as Pisum sativum. His entire work was published under the Proceedings Natural History Society of Brunn in the year 1866. Now, how do you need to learn this? Like the Tribune. Okay? The Tribune is the name of the paper. Similarly, Natural History Society of Brunn is the name of the paper in which Mendel's work was published. And Kejriwal, closed the school for 1 week. Okay, Kejriwal closed the school for 1 week. This is the headline, and that similarly, this experiments in plant hybridization is also the headlines. Okay, I think I'm able to make you understand this particular thing. कि natural history of society of Brunj जो था उस particular paper का नाम था जिन्होंने जिसमें मेंडल ने अपना काम publish करवाया था. उनके काम का जो सब टाइटल था that was experiments in plant hybridization. कौन से ईयर में? 1866 में. ओके, काम कब तक किया था? 1844 तक, सॉरी 1864 तक. कब से? 1857 से. ये कुछ बातें आपको याद रखनी होंगी. No fame till he was alive, I've already told you. After 34 years, these three scientists rediscovered his work in the year 1902. Mendelian law of inheritance या Mendelism कहते हैं हम इन्हें. And Mendel was very lucky for selecting garden pea plant. Why it is so? These are the reasons. Okay, we are not going to do question answers because we are just left with very less time. What was the reason behind selecting garden pea was that garden pea is an annual plant. And what is an annual plant? Can anyone tell me that? What do you understand by annual plant? No? Those plants whose life cycle completes in just 1 year. That is, they are being they are present as a seeds inside the soil. Then they grow as a plant. Okay, they do flowering, they do fruiting, and after that they die also. Okay, in that particular 1 year only. So those plants are called annual plants. Okay, life cycle is very short, that is about just 3 to 4 months. Next is, it is a bisexual plant. What do you understand by bisexual plants? That means the female character or the male character both are present in that particular plant. Female flower and the male flower are present in both in that particular plant only. Another is it's the self-pollinating and true breeding plant. Next is they are fertile hybrids. What was the best thing about that? That when he crossed capital T with small t, the resultant what he got was capital T small t. This one was the fertile one. Okay, that was the best contribution in his work. Small herbaceous plant it was, so it was conveniently managed for the hybridization experiment. Another is they possess many characters, many pair of contrasting characters, and these were the 6 characters which should be on your tips. Seed shape, seed color, pod shape, pod color, flower color, stem color, and the position of flower. These were the 7 characters on which Mendel worked. Okay, see, now these are the particular terminologies. Before you are going to enter in the word of genetics, you need to understand these things. Gene. What is gene? See, how I need to tell you, like you understand XX, this is for females in humans, right? XY, this is for males in human. Similarly, these are the hereditary determining factor and consist of a continuous segment of DNA. Okay, it is a continuous segment of DNA with a determining factor. Correct? Loci is that particular position that in this particular you must be aware that chromosome is what? Double stranded. Okay, that 2 strands are moving together. Correct? It is a double stranded thing. So on a particular chromosome, at this particular place, this is the character for suppose your color of hairs. Okay, just I'm talking about humans. If this is the particular character for color of hairs, okay, so this particular place is called loci. Okay, on this entire segment of DNA or the chromosome, that particular character which is responsible for any particular character, so that particular position is known as loci. Another thing is allele. Now, what is allele? These are the alternating forms. These 2 forms are known as what? Alleles. Okay. Now, genotype and phenotype, I guess now you know this. It is the physical character and or the you can say visible characters, and this is the genetic character. Next is homozygous and heterozygous. Now, what do you understand by homozygous and heterozygous? It is nothing but you have heard what I would have told you. Capital T, okay, small t, and this is capital T and small t. Okay, so capital T and capital T, what are they? These are the homozygous character. Though one is dominant, one is recessive, but that's not the case. Okay, the important thing is that both are similar, both are capital T, but here one is capital, one is small. So this is kind of what? This is a mixed character, correct? So this is known as what's heterozygous, the condition when both the members of the allelic pair, this is what a allelic pair, are either identical, dominant or recessive. That won't be mattering. Okay, so that is known as homozygous, and another name is known as heterozygous. Now, what about dominant and recessive? You know this thing also. Okay, you know what is dominant and what is recessive. I guess this is enough for you guys, right? मतलब end तो कुछ भी नहीं है इसका, but yes, एक lecture में I can deliver that this much content only, correct? But there's no issues. I know कि आप लोग का जो सेशन है वो आज से बाइंड अप हो रहा है.